Today you will learn one thing, and it's how to make brownies. So the first step is to wash your hands, because whenever you go in the kitchen, no matter what, you have to wash your hands thoroughly and dry them as well. So today is a lovely day. We are lucky to have some sun outside in Amsterdam. The second step is to heat up the oven. So the temperature will be 175 on this setting. So you heat it up. Let's say you start with a 25 minutes to make sure you have enough heat inside. Then you take a piece of butter and you will do what we call chemiser. So it's called chemiser because you put a little cover of the mold with some butter and a little bit of flour. The butter and the flour, it gives some taste. You can also buy what they call pan coating, but I don't like it so much because it makes it a bit of a grease on the finished product, and then there's not as much love, because if you start to rub your mold and you just go through the element with your hands, you will notice a difference because it's the supplement of salt. So you put a bit of flour, any flour, it's no problem. Behind the camera we have Jade. Hello. Which has some lovely curls and lovely curves too. But this is more private, the curves. So the recipe today will make, so this is how it's supposed to be. You have a few knobs of butter, but it's not many problem. And the flour will prevent it from sticking. So you keep this on the side. It's here, you don't need to worry about it. The oven is on, the hands are clean. Now you can start the recipe. So I always wanted a brownie that was a bit gooey in the middle and doesn't taste too much like flour and has a nut flavor. The nut flavor comes at the end because we put some pecan and some walnut, but you can also emphasize this flavor with nut brown butter. So this is 240 grams of butter. This whole recipe will make you this you can divide in 24, so you have more or less 24 pieces of brownie, which is perfect for this weather and for this time. So you put it on medium heat, and I always thought that it was a good idea to do nut brown butter because you work inside a pan, which is a big difference. Usually a cake you make it in a bowl and you don't really know what you're doing, and this is a bit of a trick to add some flavor of the butter, but without the richness of the butter. You can cook the butter until not brown, and you have like that beautiful color that goes very well with the cacao. So you let your butter melt slowly. This is 240 grams. Here you have some cacao powder, 120 grams, and 400 grams of sugar. The eggs, 3 eggs, 80 grams of flour with a pinch of salt. The flour is here to exhaust the salt is here to exhaust the flavor. So you crack the eggs. Meanwhile, you keep an eye on your butter. So as you can see, it starts to smoke. Here, come and take a look, please. You have to be careful because now it's cooking on the gas, so it might burn on the side. So if you see this happen, you can lower a bit the heat. So here you have your eggs. So you always put your ingredients in the order that you will use them, so you don't have to worry about it too much. Here are the nuts. So I chose some pecan nuts and walnuts that we bought at the market yesterday. And it's always more fun to break the nuts with a hammer. So you put them in a Ziploc bag. Try to hide the trademark because we are not sponsored by anyone doing this. We're only sponsored by the happiness and by the people that are looking to make some good cakes at home for your family or your kids. So now the butter starts to separate. You can see it's going bubbly and you can see a white shadow at the top. Meanwhile, you break your nuts, not those nuts, these nuts. Not too much because you still want to bite into it. So pecan nuts, it's quite expensive. Look, I smashed it back. Pecan nuts is quite expensive, but you can use walnuts or almonds. But I like the roasted taste of pecans. You have this one. This one you can put it back. I pass the flour through a drum sieve. I pass it through one of those. You can also use it to play some salt, maybe. As we call it in French, we call escrime. So now the butter starts to smell. How does it smell?
Smells tasty, huh?
It smells like almost like your friends because it smells like butter. Unfortunately, it's not French butter. So you have your ingredients ready to go. You take a whisk. You take a sip of water. And you wonder what you will do today because as the cookies are going to cook, they cook 25 minutes at 175 degrees. You always check with the needle if it's cooked on different spots of the mold because you need to make sure that the needle is dry, otherwise it's going to be wet and nobody likes the taste of raw cake. I had once in a hotel I was working, I sent some raw scones to it was a party of 17 people that paid a very expensive price for it. And I sent some raw bread and some raw scones because I didn't know how to check. And then the next day, of course, somebody taught me, but they could have teach me the day before. And after that day of the raw scones episode, I've never been able to go in pastry again for a year and a half, which also teach me how to be in the middle of the heat, let's say. So sometimes I wonder if it was all made to be, because I still love pastry, but it was also a good thing to learn the heat. So the oven is, always check your oven because this oven is a pain in the ass. Now you can see the bubbles are getting smaller and smaller, which means there's less and less water inside the butter. And they're starting to cook. On the side here, you can see that it's starting to catch. And you have all those little brown egg whites that are cooking and that gives extra flavor to it. And now it smell starts to change to become, almost smells like a forest, like Amsterdam Bos. Ah, you see, look, now it's getting golden, and you have to be careful because you don't want to burn the butter. They used to have a recipe with fish that they serve it with black butter, but that was burnt butter. And it was your favorite fish, Jade. It was a cabillaud, also known as morue. And they used to serve it in a black butter, but that became illegal because it's very provokes cancer.
And the taste? How is the taste?
The taste is a bit acre, but some people used to love it, I think. It's like when you cook something on the barbecue, you get that. Okay, now you get that acre taste. Now come and take a look. You stop it. It's gonna keep on cooking, so you have to remove it. This took what, 5 minutes? No, we are 8 minutes on the video, so it took 6 minutes, yeah?
Yeah.
6-7 minutes.
And how do you know when it's actually ready?
So you see here, you can smell. First thing ever, the smell goes instantly to your brain. It's the first thing that doesn't need your brain to understand is the smell. It goes straight to your roots, and you just smell like, oh, it smells like nuts or hazelnut, more precisely. That's why we call it beurre noisette, because noisette means hazelnut in French. So you smell it, and then you see. There's a little trick. If you are afraid to go too fast, when you see this color, so this is perfect. You can put lemon juice. Make sure you pull back when you put the lemon juice, but it will stop the cooking process of the butter.
The lemon juice will stop the cooking process.
That's the trick. And this butter is very good to do a lot of fishes, like cod also, better even than black butter. And you can use it to rub on many things. Now you can put some parsley, let's say, and a bit of lemon juice as well. And it will add some extra flavor and will be crispy, and even capers. Capers with nut brown butter and parsley, it's gorgeous. So now we have the recipe, we keep on going, let's not forget. So this is the cacao butter. The cacao butter is something else, it's not cacao butter. It's cacao and it's butter and it's sugar. Yeah. So here, you're gonna put slowly. You wanna keep the heat, and you make sure you don't sniff any of that cacao because it's not no cancer, but it's not good. It goes in your nose, and I remember those days when we were making a spicy cake, and we were putting pimientos inside the butter like this, which is also how this recipe came up. So we had to put some little piri piri pimientos that we blitzed to a powder. And it was going straight into your nose when you were mixing it. So now everything is in.
So how did you find this recipe?
Oh, it was I had a recipe of brownies that started with melted butter. No, first was soft butter. So I tried with soft butter and sugar and flour. So as you see, and some eggs. As you see, all the recipes have the same ingredients, but it's all in the way you put it and the proportions that you put it. So now it's going to look a little split because cacao powder has some fat and butter also has some fat. Only the sugar is fighting. So now you whisk it a little bit. You wait that it cools down because you don't want the eggs to become scrambled inside.
So cooking is a kind of exercise, it looks like.
It's a good exercise. It's good for your muscle. If you make bread, it's even better for your muscles. Now you see I put this one underneath so it doesn't slip everywhere. So I thought about, to come back to your question, I thought about this, how to make this recipe, because with soft butter it was not making anything gooey. With a melted butter it didn't add anything. When you were putting the nuts, it was just okay, the taste of butter and the taste of pecans and walnuts. It was nothing special. And then I remember that we were making those cakes with the pimientos and not brown butter. So I thought, okay, let's do it this way, let's try it. And ever since I did it, I thought it was working pretty neatly. So now you check if it's too hot. Yeah, it's too hot. So you keep on whisking. And I really like brownies. I made brownies one day for some friends. We were having drinks at the Devil's Dog. And I said to Jade, who's behind the camera, or behind the phone because it's not really a camera. But I said to Jade that I'll bring a cake, and I just made some brownies. It's a really easy recipe. You just have to get all your ingredients organized. Like this. Because if you put it now, it's gonna cook the egg. That's why you touch here. And if you can stand the heat, it means that it's ready to put the egg. That's why you always have to get the mold ready, all your ingredients ready. The oven is heating up. You have nothing on the hand, time, because it's better to spend time to learn something than to be on Instagram, isn't it?
Definitely.
Now you can add one egg. Don't be afraid if it starts to look split or shiny. It's only the egg starts to cooperate with the rest. You can go with another egg. Now you see the texture starts to change because of the egg white and the egg yolk reacting with some butter and sugar. You can also put less sugar, but if you buy some cacao powder, buy the one without sugar. That way you're not gonna have this heavy taste in the mouth when it's cooked, and you only want to eat one brownie and you're done, you know. And this one you will be able to eat a lot, and you can also eat it with some crème anglaise, which is a recipe reserved for another day. And it will go very well with just a glass of milk also. Because brownie is just something you eat at 4 p.m. or maybe in the morning. But you don't want to eat one and then feel very heavy. So now as you can see, it's all incorporated perfectly. check the sides. It's already looking like a gorgeous dough. If it's split, don't stress. Just keep on whisking. You have to mix thoroughly. Now you go with the flour. Go slowly. I really like this recipe actually because you only use a pan. So far I used 4 bowls in one pan, so you don't really have to worry about cleaning afterwards because there's not much to clean. Some recipes you have to use a bowl and then you have to use this pan and then you have to go back on another bowl and you have to do it on the bench. So the flour I put it on 3 times. And it's a flour that you have to pass through a drum sieve, or otherwise you will get those lumps. And once you get lumps in a cake, it's just such a hassle to take out. You can try to pass the whole dough through a drum sieve again, but just save the aggregation, just take it easy. Use the sieve first for everything. So the cacao powder you can sieve. Now you check all your corners. So now it's much more thick. This is better than a gym workout because you're gonna spend calories and then you're gonna eat the calories. Now you put all your nuts. So this is 180 grams of nuts. I put 90 of walnuts, 90 of pecans. There's no point to roast the nuts in the oven because you're gonna cook this at 175, so the roasting process is gonna get done. I never thought it was gonna be so hard to speak and whisk at the same time. But I guess if Jade enjoys it, other people will enjoy. I always dreamed to cook in a shirt, and now my dream come true. Now you take a pan of liquor, make sure the pan of liquor is clean. They also call this Maries. A lot of people don't know we call it Maries. The Dutch they call it a pan of liquor. The English Maries and French also Maries. Jade calls it a Marie-Louise, which I think is really cute because Marie-Louise was the name of my first girlfriend ever. What a girl. I never did anything. I had a relationship via email with her. She was in the same class than I, but I never had the courage to speak to her. I gave to her, I'll always remember this, for Valentine's Day, which is close, in 2 months now. For Valentine's Day I gave her like a heart. Don't forget Valentine's Day. I gave her a heart and I sent her an email because I was too shy. I said, hey, what did you do with the heart? Did you throw it away? And she said, no, look. And I remember this, she scanned it because back in the days we only had a scanner. She scanned it and sent me a picture of the actual heart. That was probably one of the greatest days of my young life.
Oh, so cute. But now you can also bake brownie for Valentine's Day, so it's
yes,
cool too.
You can make brownies for Valentine's Day. You can also make a pavlova, which is also a delicious treat. So now you have the dough. Take it easy. Use the wrist action. Never skip the wrist day. Up. Make sure you scrape everything, otherwise it's gonna be in the sink and then it's a waste. You can also, because you actually washed your hands, you can also lick the bowl, but that's not in front of a camera. This you cannot do. You can do when you're a kid or when your kid is not watching. That's it. So, every bit. Okay. Now, you take the dough. It looks really brown, but don't worry about it. You spread the dough a little bit, not too much. You go slowly because it's gonna stick. And it's just so you don't have like a brownie looking this shape. Thank you. This is Timothy. He's been our friend for maybe, 2 years now, no?
Yeah, about a year.
He has hairs that grows back and forth. And you can cut his hairs. And I think it's the second version now because we had another one that died.
Yeah.
We never knew when. We took him to the florist, which is his doctor, but
But
she
it
never
didn't
knew
work
what to do.
out.
So now you have your brownie. You make sure the corners is not full properly. Look. You check this upper right corner. That's it. Then you can take this your hand. This is probably one of the most marvelous brownie I ever had. Probably because you get the pecans inside, and the walnuts goes very well. And it's not eggy because there's only 3 eggs. Eggy flavor is not a good thing in a cake. So perfectly timed. Wash your hands. Dry your hands. This you can keep it here like a professional. Now you stuff it in. 25 minutes we said. You make sure it's nice and straight. And this oven is a pain in the ass. So 25 minutes we said. This one you put it on also. And you see, you take a needle. And you check with this needle or with a toothpick to see if it's dry or different. And I'll see you later when it's cooked. And I hope you enjoy. And thank you very much. Thank you, Jade, too. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.